Welcome to the Capital Compass. I'm Lindsay Melchek. Lahontan Gold Corp has been gaining ground fast in 2025, with drill rigs turning at the Santa Fe project in Nevada, fresh permits just greenlit, and a full-scale metallurgical testing program now underway. It's all part of an aggressive push to unlock near-term production potential at one of the state's most promising past-producing gold and silver sites. Now, joining me today is the powerhouse behind it all, Kimberly Ann, the founder, president, CEO, and executive chair of Lahontan Gold. She's a deal maker, a builder, and one of the most driven voices in the junior mining space right now. Kimberly Ann, it is so great to have you with us. I always love sitting with you.
It's great to be here. I don't even know why I should speak. I mean, you did such a great job there.
Well, let's just get right to it because I'm sure there's more information that you can actually roll out for us. Right out of the gate, though, a lot has really been happening already this year for all of you. New drill campaigns, more permits, and now metallurgy. I mean, can you walk us through how it's all coming together and what you're really trying to accomplish this year at Santa Fe?
Absolutely. Look, first of all, we're up over 350% since the beginning of the year. And, the goal here is, let's not forget, is to make money. So my number one goal is to make money for our shareholders and for the company. And that means fast tracking Santa Fe back into production as fast as possible. So we're deep in the weeds, as I like to say, of our permitting. We're about, oh my gosh, 2.5 years into permitting. This is a mine under closure. The Santa Fe mine was in production from 88 to 94, open pit, heap leach, so inexpensive. And we're considered a mine under closure. So for us, fast tracking it back into production really is fast tracking because there's so many things we already know about the project that we don't have to spend the dollars and time to do. So where we sit today is we're about ready to hit the NEPA phase of our permitting, which means a comment period to the public. This is for the plan of operation, which allows us to draw out the project completely project wide, but also once we have that document in hand, then it goes into the mine permitting process. So it's quite complicated, but that being said, we are in Nevada. They just put President Trump just put gold on the critical metals list, which is fantastic. It's about time. And the legislation is really pushing the agenda forward. So it's really just about having people in the office that can help us get to the finish line. Why are we doing all this drilling and met work? Well, this project is 26.4 square kilometers. It's got massive upside of drilling. I mean, right now we have 2 million ounces. It's a great number. Our PEA looks great. We can make a heck of a lot of money right now, but there's so much to explore. So this last round of drilling was only about 1,800 meters and was specifically driven on 4 different areas to target, where we can really massively expand in the Slab Calvada area. So once we get those drill results back, we'll go back in October, but I don't believe, as you know, wasting dollars. So we drill a little bit, let's get the results back and then go back at it. So that's underway. And then the metallurgical work you're talking about, well, every time we try to check a box on our permitting and try to de-risk this asset, there's more things that come up. For example, when we put out our PEA in December, the recoveries weren't what I would like to see them at. For example, over at our Slab Calvada area, the recoveries from historic mining was 63%. And because we use a third party to write these reports, they would only put in 50% because they didn't specifically do the work, which, this 431 process, upsets me as a CEO because I can't actually tell the public the truth in a lot of ways. And 13% is a huge amount when you're talking about recoveries. So when we put our PEA, we have a checklist of everything that has to happen to get us to the finish line and get the numbers we actually need to see. And that's what we're doing. So we're checking every box that they want to see to, bring up the recoveries and all the different deposits. We have 4 different deposits that we know of on the property. And we're just going through that list, just checking them all off. So in Q1 of next year, we can be talking about, okay, here's the new resource estimate and the PEA to come with all the new numbers. Because we're so close to getting this permit that we have to run a separate model internally to make sure that we really are moving X amount of rock versus what is publicly out in space, right? Because we all do these models at certain gold prices, et cetera, et cetera. Ours was done at 1950 gold, which feels like it was 100 years ago right now. So all these things matter, and day by day, that's what we're doing. Just de-risk, 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 and moving it to the point where we're hoping by early 2027 we'll be breaking ground, which is a blink of an eye in mining, as we both know.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're sitting there and it sounds like you're crossing all those T's and dotting all those I's now, and that's what's going to move you a little bit forward as well. I want to talk a little bit about some approvals, though. That new BLM approval sounds like a big deal. So what does it actually mean for your team on the ground, and when do you think we'll start seeing drill results from this next round?
Good question. Well, I mean, the permitting that we have gotten approved allows us to continue to drill under a notice of intent. It's acre by acre in a lot of ways. And so, we can do that incrementally as we go along. So it never stops us drilling when we're going for a plan of operation on the exploration side. Um, but what it does do is once we have that document, we never have to go back to the Bureau of Land Management to get anything approved, which is like amazing. But it's
Yes.
millions of dollars and a lot of time. So we've gotten through all of the studies. We call them the bugs and bunnies studies, and we've had those approved, which is really important because now they can't come back and say, "Oh, I need you to go look for the raptors again," or they can't go back on their word. So we are at the point where those have been cleared and moving forward, and that's taken us almost 3 years, for goodness sakes. So that's a really important part of the equation. But all those studies go into the mine permit. So it's a really big deal for the company to be where we are right now, because now it's time of getting it out in the public space, letting them look at the document. We have no First Nations, we have no communities around us at all. So it's not like we have a lot of people that is going to go, oh no, you can't go back into production. They're there to basically to be our workforce, which is 30 kilometers away. So that's great. On the drill results, we should have our first round of drill results out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it's will be the next month. You'll see all of them. So very short timeline.
That's, that's amazing news. And I am so happy to hear that there's just so much going on for you. I want to actually also flip over and unpack the metallurgy aspect of that. So met testing, we all know, is one of those things that sounds very technical, but it really actually does matter. So what are you hoping so matter? So what are you hoping to learn from this phase, and how much could that move the needle on the Santa Fe's overall economics?
Well, what we do know is we will get to be able to report what happened in the past, if not better. And that's specifically on the oxides. When we look at our transition and sulfide materials, we have shipped 1,000 pounds of this off to a third party that I can't really talk about who it is, but
Right.
it's a new technology that they're doing that essentially turns sulfides into oxides, which could be heap leachable. And it's literally rock dependent. So if it works, then it opens up so much for the company because we have high grade sulfides underneath all of our pits. I mean, amazing material that we're not even focused on right now because we have so much oxides ready to be mined. So, I mean, there is a lot to learn through this process, and I think January will have information back. So it's going to be, if this works, it's revolutionary to the industry because it changes our recoveries from 50% to 90%. So you know every
Well,
percent counts. That's how much more money we'll make, right?
yeah.
We're already going to print money at 1,200 cash costs all in for the company, and that's the first pass in our PEA. And gold's at what? I mean, so yeah, it's really important, and it's not sexy to the public, but it's sure as hell is sexy when you're looking at how much more money you're going to make in the process. So
Absolutely, that's so important. You've actually been quite vocal about the Santa Fe having near-term production potential.
yeah,
What still needs to fall into place, whether it's from a permitting, technical, or operational perspective, to make that happen?
it's simply the permitting process because every step along the way is them asking us to do more studies on air quality or you name it. They come up with it, and we're there to facilitate that so we can move the project forward. But the drilling we are doing is simply to just add more ounces. And, right now, the studies that we have, the PA we have out is 15,000 tons per day. I think that's probably going to get changed to 5,000 tons per day. So we're trying to like really put a narrow scope on it, right? Because the capex for it right now is 130 million with 20% contingency, so 100 million más o menos, and that's not that much money to find. But we really want to get these numbers to as much perfection as we can before we're raising the money. Because literally right now, next year, I will be raising the money to build this thing. And people always say, well, how are you going to do that? At what market cap? And blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what market cap we are sitting at the time. These are non-dilutive dollars. This is a rapid payback. So when you talk to debt funds, like I used to work for one, I know what they're looking for. 70% of that CapEx will be probably in debt. We also barely have any royalties on the project. So we have royalty flexibility, and maybe we'll take equity. But right now it's just like, let's just keep going and moving the share price forward and doing all the work on the ground that's necessary.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's continue with that then. Looking ahead to the rest of the year, Kimberly, Ann, what's the one thing you think investors should really be watching for from Lahontan? What's the next
They
big
should be
moment?
they should be watching every result that comes out, because all of this is the breadcrumbs to production. And look, we've been trading at 10, 11 cents. And in December we were at 2 cents. And I think you probably remember we did have that block from Victoria. We finally got that out of purgatory in December. And those were things that we didn't expect to happen, but they're done. And the reality is that block of shares has moved into fantastic hands that don't run a mine like our friends that that aren't at risk for that situation again. So since then, we're having massive trading volume, and the stock keeps going up because people are starting to see this. So people should be getting in now, because this is the reason why I'm talking to you and everybody else I can, because the stock is so inexpensive still right now. It's
Yeah.
not going backwards. It's just going to continue to skyrocket. And the path to production of what we're going to build along the way from Santa Fe to West Santa Fe to Moho is massive. There's not going to be sit around and wait for something to happen. It's going to be, okay, we can now focus on West Santa Fe and start drilling that out, which is 10 kilometers away, our satellite operation to be. So there's so much going on right now. And I don't want to have a shareholder come to me in a year when we're trading at God knows what that great number is and say, gee, I wish I would have heard your story a year ago. So at minimum, get on our newsletter list so you get our information. My phone number, my email specifically is on there. Give me a call anytime. I love talking to our shareholders, and buy some stock.
And there you have it. Well, there is so much going on, and you have really lined yourself up so well. Thank you so, so much for coming on and chatting with us and telling your
Good to
story.
see you.
Absolutely. I always love sitting with you.
I know. It's too fun.
We'll chat soon for sure.
Thanks, Lindsay.
That was Kimberly Ann, the driving force behind Lahontan Gold, trading under the ticker symbol LG on the Venture and on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange under the symbol Y2F. If you're looking for a junior with big upside potential and real near-term moves in play, check them out at lahontangoldcorp.com. This is one story that's not waiting around. I'm Lindsay Melchuk. We'll talk to you soon.